Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, and it is finally time to start the campaign in Hellcat Tankers. So, correction, we're not in Operation Cobra, it's the Battle of Aracourt, and we're gonna play the campaign, not individual missions. And the way it works is you're not gonna know if you will start on day 1 or day 2. You have to roll a d6, and on a roll of 1 to 3, you start on day 1. On a roll of 4 to 6, you start on day 2. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And we roll a 5, meaning we're actually going to start on day 2. So day 2 is the 19th of September, 1944, the outskirts of, and don't kill me for this pronunciation, Luneville. And let's see what kind of mission we have. We have to, or objective, reveal all enemy potential enemies, then move off the map in the direction of the red arrow. So red arrow is over here. Our conditions start at max, which is 6, and our fire starts at 0. We load our tank, and then we put out our crew members, and of course they are all green now, as this is the first time they participate in combat. So we have our commander, our gunner, our driver, our loader, and our assistant driver. And there we go. Okay, and now we need to start putting some enemies here. So place 1 Puma on my random numbered hex facing a random direction. So let's see where I can find a Puma marker. I roll 2d6 and we're all 6, so he is going to start right over here, and we're all 1d6 to see his position, and he's gonna face at number 6. You can see this hex over here, and let's see, that's an inaccessible hex in front of him, so he's gonna re-roll, and instead, and he's not gonna face that either because the buildings are also inaccessible, and he's not gonna. This doesn't usually happen, to be honest. 2 works. He's gonna face this direction, but sometimes it does, and then you have to just keep rolling. And then we have to put 2 potential enemies on different random numbered hexes. So we roll an 8, and that is gonna be over here. And then for the second potential enemy, we roll a 7, which is going to be over here. So now we get to put our Hellcat tank destroyer on the black arrow hex, and we can also now decide which way we want to face. So this is very good that you wait until you have put all of your enemy tanks and armored cars and enemy potential enemies, because as you can see now that there's more enemies here on the left flank. They have a direct line of sight down the bridge that I would use if I went that way. So that's probably not a very good way to head. So I'm going to head into the east direction instead and try to cross that bridge and get into cover behind here. So think about that. I made a mistake when I was playing this in the beginning. I just placed my Hellcat and didn't think much of it, and then I faced a bad way. So put your enemies first and then decide which angle you want to face. Okay, so we're gonna start, and we are gonna start here. Let's just look at all of these sequence of play moments here. So number 1 is remove Hellcat smoke in ambush, and we have neither ambush or smoke up. The second out of 11 is position your commander up or down, and we want him down. You will want your commander up generally when you want to spot or fire, and I'm not going to do either in this step. I'm just going to try to get as many movements as I can to get into a good position. So I want him down, and we're going to get into that whole thing soon. if number 3 is if your condition is 4 or less, you may bail out. Perform 1 kill in action check as you do so. But we're not gonna. Our condition is 6. It's not under 4, so it has to be 3 or less. Bailed crew is number 4. Move up to 2 hexes, but we are not bailed. Or roll a number of dice as you have condition, and then discard dice matching any KIA. If commander is down, re-roll any double or triple rolls. So our condition is 6, so we get to roll 6 dice. So we do not want, let's see here, the 2s are going to be our loader. So we definitely don't want those 2s. We rolled 3 2s. The 5s and the 1s are going to let me move. But the 2s are only going to let, in this, now if we look at the green 2s, which are the inexperienced, the green crew 2s, I could fire the turret, or I could load. And that's the only thing I could do with the 2s. So that's really not useful right now. But due to my commander being down, this is a triple, I can reroll all of these. So there we go. I got a 5, I got a 6, so I can move with those. And then with the 2, of course, I can load or fire, but I don't intend to do so. But it's better with 1 2 than 3 2s. Okay, so now I get to decide my orders. So let's see, let's start by looking at the 5s. The 5s is going to be the assistant driver, and he can, when he's green, he can move, then turn, or just turn. And also he can repair if my tank were damaged. So I'm going to use the first 5 to move. I'm going to use the second 5 to move and turn. And I really want to get out of here because this is a road, so there's a higher chance of running over mines in this area, which is not good, obviously. Use the second 5 to move again, or the third 5, whatever. And then I use this, let's see here, I'll use the 1, which is my commander, and he can move, he can fire the MG at infantry, he can spot. That's all the things he can do when he's green. So he's using that, and he's turning this way. And the question is, if I want to stay in this position perhaps and let this guy get closer, maybe I should actually move. Let's see here. No, I think I'll stay this way. And then I'll use the 6 that I have. And the 6, you can do anything you want. So I could use an ambush right here. So just in case something will come, like the Puma or a potential enemy, and manage to spot me, I get to fire first, and I have a little chance of surviving. And then we have the 2, which again I could use to fire or load, but I'm not going to do either, so that 2 is wasted. And then we go back to our sequence of play. Remember, we have 11 steps. Number 5 is fire level, but we don't have any fire level. Also, we have on 6 German artillery, but there's no German artillery on the board. That comes from the end of turn events, so on the first turn you can't have German artillery. 7 is remove German smoke. Same thing there. First turn, that can happen because they do that in step 8. That's where they can smoke. So we skip 7, and then we go to 8, which is activate tanks, it says, but also this is not a tank, of course, it's a Puma, but you activate identified enemy units. So we roll always for an undamaged enemy 4 dice. It would be 2 if it was damaged. This is very important to remember. You always re-roll any 6s or 1s the first time that you roll them. So if you roll a 6, re-roll. If you roll 6 or 1 with that, when you re-roll, you keep that roll. Okay, so we have a 5, 2 4s, and a 3. So you go from the lowest number and work yourself up. So with the 3, he would fire the MG. He would fire his main gun or MG at the adjacent crew, but there's none which he has a line of sight to. If not, move, then if blocked, turn. So he uses the 3 to move. And this is now very bad because he's going to activate this guy with the 4. With the 4, move, then turn. But he cannot, see here, he would have actually, on the 3, he would have turned because he was blocked by this. So then with the 4, he's going to move, then turn, and they always turn towards your tank. Then alert adjacent potential enemies. So this is very bad. This is an adjacent potential enemy. So roll a d6 and we'll look at this chart. And we roll a 4, which is going to be a Panzer 4. So this guy now goes from being a potential enemy to being an enemy, a Panzer 4. And I'm actually not, let's see, with line of sight, 1d6 on German chart, random phase. Okay, so we have to roll for his line of sight. So 2, which is going to be over here. Just looking into those trees. Okay, and then no action for this guy this turn. So, oh, we still have some actions here actually on the Puma. Move, then turn. And he's turning towards the building, which is blocked, so he keeps turning. And then, if adjacent, but now luckily he's not adjacent. And then we have 5, which is fire, or if not, move. And if blocked, turn, but he's not blocked. And this Panzer doesn't have any action this turn, but the potential enemy has, so roll 4d6. And he's going to use these to move according to this chart, whatever you want to call this thing, from lowest number to higher, but he's not going to move if that move would make him further away from my tank destroyer. So he has 2 2s, but he cannot move up there because those are blocked. Same goes for the 3. Then he has a 6, which is going to let him move here. And actually, he's not going to become further away doing so, even if it looks like that. But he's the same amount of hexes away. And that is the end, let's see here, of activate tanks. Next one would be activate German infantry, but there's no German infantry on the board. That happens here on the end of turn. And then we actually have 10, which is activate potential enemies, but we have done so already. So then you would go, after that, you would go to the last step. Oh, man. Studio lights are falling here. It's a real battlefield. Then you go to the last step, which is end of turn events, and you simply roll 2d6. And we roll a 7, which is going to be efficient operation. Roll 1d6, no event. On a 1 to 5, perform any valid action if mashing crew member is alive and in Hellcat. So this is a very nice roll. We roll a 5, which is going to let us move. So let me consider where I want to move for my next turn. I probably, let's see here, want to get behind this place. So I'm going to move up here and turn with that 5. And that's it. That's it for this first turn of the game. So we now go to the second turn of the game. So the first thing you do is remove Hellcat Smoke and Ambush. And then you roll as many dice as you have your condition. And I'm going to keep my commander down. So let's see here. I rolled very good, so I'm not going to change any of this. And I can't change the 2, unfortunately. You can only change doubles and triples. So I'm going to use the first one to move and turn. And the second one to move and turn. And then I'm going to use the first 6 to get hold down. Let's see here. And then I use the second 6 to ambush. And the last 6 to smoke. And I'm not smoking a cigarette, I'm launching my smoke mortar or throwing a smoke grenade out of the open top, open turret. to conceal myself from any enemies that might come my way now. And then we go to the enemy turn, and as I said before, it's 4 dice per enemy, and you start with the enemies that are closer to you, so we start with the Puma. Remember again to reroll any 1s and 6s on the first roll. Okay, so we have a 1. If damage, repair, otherwise reverse, then turn. And then we have a 4, which is move, then turn. Then we have 2 5s, which is fire. If not, move. Then if blocked, turn. And then another 5, move. And see, this guy is getting close. So you see this here, this is hedgerow. This, luckily for me, blocks line of sight, even if you're adjacent. So even if I was standing here, my line of sight to him is blocked. And then we have our Panzer 4. Remember to reroll those 6s and 1s. So we have a 2, which is move, then turn if blocked. 5, which is move. Sorry, that's a 4. Move, then turn. And then we have a 5, which is move. And another 5, which is move. And if blocked, turn. Okay, so it's getting a little bit crowded here. Really a little bit too crowded. Let's see what the potential enemy does. And here we don't re-roll any of the dice. So he rolls a 3. And the second 3 he can't use because that's blocked. And then, let's see, 1, 2, 3, a 4. So he goes down here. And then the 6, he goes, let's see here, up here. Okay, so they are surrounding me. They have a way of finding you. 2d6 for end of turn events. And roll a 9. Oh, this is very bad, guys. Stuka attacks Hellcat. If the commander is up, you get to fire back at the Stuka with 2d6. And you destroy it on a 5 or 6. If not, then you take 4 of these as an attack. Tree and smoke modifiers. We are not in trees, but we are in smoke. So luckily we get to remove 1 die. Any 5 or a 6 is going to be a hit. And he rolls a 1, a 2, and a 4. So thank God we are not hit. That would have been really bad. Okay, so it is our turn again. We are going to pop these away. The smoke and the ambush, as we do in the beginning of a turn. We are going to take our commander up this time, because now we need him ready to act, ready to spot or fire. And we're going to roll 66. Okay, that's a lot of firing I can do, but not too much movement. This is a little bit tricky, because I certainly need to get out of here, but this is gonna leave me open if I can't, basically I'm gonna have to go in here to be able to shoot at any of them. And I'll be able to shoot once, reload, shoot again, and reload. So I'll be able to fire twice. But even if that would let me kill both of these, that's gonna leave the potential enemy still able to act. So I think I can't do that. On the other hand, I don't know how I'm not gonna be able to get out of here, because I only have once for movement, and that's just gonna let me move, not reverse. If that would have let me reverse, I could have backed away to this place. But with these ones, I can't really do much besides moving up. So I'm not quite sure how to deal with this. I think I'm a little bit unlucky getting this surrounded. It's not very often that happens, that you get to this extent that everyone comes to kill him. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the first one to, let's see here. Oh yeah, that's just going to let me turn. Yeah, maybe it was a bit stupid not going down with the commander. Because if I use the first one, I can only turn, and that will let me then move here, and I'm gonna leave my butt open for them to fire on. So I think actually the best thing I can do here is just let that Puma engage me, because that's at least gonna block the Panzer IV from coming to kill me. So I think that's what I'm gonna have to do now. There's not much more I can do, and with the ones, I could move, I could spot, I could fire the MG, and that's it. So unfortunately, I can't smoke, or I cannot. The best thing here would be if I could make an ambush. That would be excellent, but I can't do that either. So I think, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I feel like if I move in here, that's just gonna kill me. If I I can't reverse. If I move down here, that's gonna leave my back armor open, and I'm gonna be toast. So I don't think there's really much I can do here, unfortunately. I'm hull down. That's the only good thing I got going for me. Okay, that's it, guys. We roll for the Puma first. This might be a very short campaign, eh? We don't need to re-roll anything. With the 2, we have move. Then if blocked, turn. Then the second one, we have move. And then if blocked, turn, but it's not blocked. And then we have a second 2, which is fire. So with this 2, he's going to go ahead and fire at my tank. So we look at his value here, which is 3. So he has 3 dice. We remove 1 because we're hull down. And then we also remove 1 because we do have a frontal armor value of 1. So he only gets 1 die, and on a 5 or 6, he does damage to me. Unfortunately for us, he does roll a 6. That's actually very, very unlucky. We roll on the damage chart here. Hope for a low number. We get a 3, which is a fire. That is not great, because this early on in the game, my crew members aren't very experienced, so there's not much they can do to put a fire out. If we look here, the only thing that I can do to extinguish a fire is rolling a 6. Okay, so let's see, he had another 5, so with the 5, he's gonna fire as well. So again, he has 1 die. And again, he hits me. And actually, we're gonna fix something. That's another fire, so we now have a fire of 2. So I think actually this is over, guys. There is one modifier I forgot to put on, and that is that he has another modifier for being closer than 3 hexes. He's just 1 hex away, so that gives him a +1. And since he fired twice, I'm gonna go ahead and roll to see. Okay, so he rolls 4 dice and he hits every time. Okay, so I believe both of those were threes. I think the first one was a 4, so let's roll to see what he gets more. 4 plus 5, that's a 9. So that's gonna be 9 to 10. That's a killed in action. It's not a fire, and then it's 1 less condition. So we go from condition 6 to 5. And then we roll to see who is killed in action, and it's the commander. Wow. So we remove the commander. And then we have the other hit where he rolled a 3. So we roll again. And this time he rolled a 5, so that becomes an 8. And 8 is -2 conditions, so we go from 5 to 3. So I think I played at least 10 missions of this game, and I've never been this unlucky playing. This is just ruthless. Well, that's it for him. We're going to roll for the Panzer IV. And he rolls 2, 2, 2, 5. 2 is fire or move. So he's going to move. And if blocked, turn. And then move. And then move. And then with 5, fire. If not, move. He's moving away from me at least. And then there's the potential enemy's turn. And he's going to move, let's see here, down here. and that's it. He can't go down here, and he's not going to go up here because that's going to make him further away from me. And end of turn events. And roll a 4, which is civilians point out a nearby German tank. You may reveal any one potential enemy by rolling 2d6 on the German chart. That's very lucky. Okay, so we roll a 6, so that's actually quite unlucky. That is going to be a Panzer IV. See if I can find him. He's over here, and we roll for the facing. A 3, so he's going to face, I have to roll again. A 2, let's see, yes. Okay, so we have completed our objective now, which was revealing all the potential enemies, but we need to get to this position and move off, and I don't see that as being very likely. This is now our next turn, and we only have 3 dice to roll, since our condition is only 3. And also keep in mind that any rolls of 1 now don't do anything because the commander is dead. So we roll 5, 5, and 4, none of which lets us move. So I think I'll use, let's see, the 4. Can I fire with the 4 or anything like that? Nope. I can reverse. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to use that to reverse, then move. And we'll lose the hold down position. And I use the 5 to move up. And then the second 5 to move again. And I'm going to see a turn like this. And it's just basically, it's a stupid move, but it's basically all I can do at this point. And then we roll for the enemies, and let's start with the Panzer IV. I think actually, man, I should have bailed out. Yeah, I should have bailed out there. But it's the beginning of the mission, so like the campaign, so even if I die now, it might be better to restart, because if I bail out and make it out, I can get a condition 2 Hellcat. They send me right back to battle. You roll a d6, and if it's 2 or higher, that's the condition you have. So if you're really lucky, it's going to be condition 6, but it's more likely to be condition 3 or 4, which is very bad, and it could be as low as 2. If you roll a 1, you re-roll. So it's never going to be a 1, but it could be a 2, so that's horrible. Okay, so this guy, he rolls a lot of 1s, which he is going to re-roll. So with the 2, he's going to fire or move. And with the 3, he's going to fire. Very bad. So he has a firepower of 5. He's firing at my front, so he loses 1 die, but then he gets 1 die because he's in close range. And he gets 2 hits. So we roll those hits. And he gets 7, which is going to be -1 condition, +1 fire. It's time to bail out. Oops, that's a wrong marker. It's actually a specific one for the fire. And then he uses the 4 move, then turn. Then alert. Okay, there's no one to alert. And then he uses the 5 to fire. And again, he does so with 5 dice. That's +1, -1. And he gets 3 hits. 2 6s and 1 5. So this is not looking good, guys. 1 3. That's a good hit. Only 6. So that's going to be -1 condition again. So this is as low as it goes. It goes down to 1. And then you die. Oh, I forgot to roll for the fire, didn't I? I forgot to roll. Oh, did I have fire? Oh, I don't think I had any fire. Okay, but I'm going to have to roll for the fire next turn. Okay, and that's it. Then we have our Puma, which might come out and kill us now. And he is going to do a 2, which is move. A 3, which is move, then turn. A 3, which is move, then turn. A 5, which is move. then turn. So luckily he does not fire at me, but he's really close to doing so. And then we have the Panzer IV, and he rolls a lot of 1s and 6s. We're gonna have to re-roll. The 2 is fire or move. The 4 is move, then turn. Move, then turn. And then we have a 6, which is fire or hold down. And that's it. End of turn events. We have 11, which is going to be US support. Remove 1 infantry or roll 4d6 on any revealed tank. So we'll roll these for this Panzer IV here, and 5 and 6 are going to be hits. So we get a 6. Maybe we might be able to damage him. To damage him, we need 3 to 7. Roll a 2, so he's not even damaged. I'm telling you guys, this is the unluckiest game I've ever been in. Okay, so it is our turn, and we are going to use option 3, which is if condition is under 4, bail out. So we have a little cute crew marker here, which we're going to put there. And then we're going to roll 1d6 to see if we have a KIA. We roll a 2, which is the loader, so now the loader is also KIA. So we only got 3 crew members left, the gunner, the driver, and the assistant driver. If all of them die, the game is over. And you need to have at least 1 alive, and it doesn't need to be an original one for you to make it, to win the campaign. Okay, so let's see here. Do we get to move? Yes. So the next step is bailed crew, move up to 2 hexes. So we're going to move up into this building where we're safe, because if an enemy ever moves into our square, all of them die instantly. So now let's see if I will survive. We can remove this. And we'll roll for the Panzer IV. Reroll the 6s. Okay, so we have a 2, which is fire MG or move. Move again. The 3 is move. Then if blocked, turn. And then the 6 is going to be hold down in trees field or smoke if on road. If you're on a road, you can never hold down, so that's why he chooses to smoke. And then we take the Puma, which is conveniently blocked right now. So that's at least good. So he has a 3, which is going to be move. If blocked, turn. So he's going to turn. And then 3, move, and turn if blocked. 4 is move, then turn. And then 5 is fire at adjacent crew with the MG. If not, then move. So he moves. And then our Panzer IV. So he has a 2, which is going to be move. He loses his hold down status. The 3 is going to be move. The 3, sorry, and then move if blocked, and then the 3 is move, and then turn if blocked, and then another 3. So he's getting closer. And then we have end of turn events. 9, which is going to be Stuka attacks. And let's see here. If not, yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't say here, but I think it says in the rules that the Stuka only attacks if you're in the Hellcat. And we're not in the Hellcat, so we ignore that Stuka. And then it is our turn again. And now we actually get 2 moves. So we move to C and we get out. So we have now successfully survived with 3 of our crew members. And we basically, what's going to happen now, I'll show you what happens, is we're just going to reset the game. So we get back and they send us a replacement for the loader and the commander. And then we get a new Hellcat. This one is destroyed on the battlefield. So we roll a d6, and that's going to be the condition of our new Hellcat. We rolled a 1, which is very lucky. Thank you, Mike. If you roll a 1, you re-roll. You see, I'm telling you guys, there's something cursed about this campaign of mine. We roll a 4, so I shouldn't cry too much. We'll try to repair that moving ahead. And we get new crew members here. All of them are green, of course. The assistant driver and the gunner and the driver are old crew members from the first mission, but we get a replacement commander and a replacement loader. And to repair the tank now, we're going to have to roll a 5 or a 6. So we have only 4 dice each turn, so I'm going to try to do that rather quickly, because it really does limit your options when you get damaged and only can throw a few dice. So you want to try to get repaired as quickly as you can, if that's a possibility. Well, guys, that is the first that is the first mission of my campaign. It did not go well. Hopefully it does go better next time. And again, we're going to have to repeat this map, because you aren't allowed to progress until you beat the objectives that you have. So even if you survive, you have to just repeat it. Again, these first missions, I think generally they're quite easy, because your opponents aren't very dangerous. And there's some good stuff here on the end of turn events table. But I think I was just generally unlucky, and maybe my plan was a little bit stupid. It could be a combination of those two things. If you want to buy this game, just go to Amazon, your local Amazon. If you're in the US, Amazon.com. If you're in Germany, Amazon.de, for example. And search for Mike Lambo, and you will find this game. It's for what you get. It's a very good game. It's very little money compared to, you have a full campaign, and this has a lot of replayability and a lot of game time. And it's quite addictive with this system where you actually get to level up. And hopefully in my next video, you will get to see one of my crew members leveling up. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next mission. I'd greatly appreciate if you comment on the video and take just 1 second to like it. It really does help me out a lot, and seeing your feedback is always fun, because that motivates me to make more videos, and also shows me what you think of the video. Alright guys, that's it for this time. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you next time.